What's up YouTube? For today's video, we have a full Dragon Moves Pokemon team. Man, I haven't done a theme team for a couple of days. Feels good to be back. I needed a little bit of a break, people. So, we got some nice Dragon moves there, and I picked some of them. I couldn't get all of them in one team. It was quite difficult, but I did get most of them. Now, people, in these teams, I'll be attacking only with Dragon-type moves. I'm allowed to use other status moves of different types, but essentially, I'm only allowed to attack with Dragon-type moves to clear that one up. Alright, people, I will be doing a Christmas stream on my Twitch as well, so if you're not following me on Twitch, make sure you are. It's going to be super fun. I'll be trying to do that on Christmas Eve, or my Christmas Eve, so probably most people's, like, you know, Christmas Eve day or something like that. I'm not sure how it works, but yeah, it should be really fun. And if you want to follow there, thank you to all the subscribers. That one, the link is in the description there too. Twitch.tv/PIMPNITE. Okay, we got a battle against Jim on my Discord, and we got a scary Vikavolt lead, which is going to paralyze my Dunsparce. Now, on this Dunsparce, obviously it's not a Dragon-type Pokemon. I kind of wanted to include a couple other Pokemon that weren't exactly Dragon-type. Just, you know, try and confuse the opponent. Sometimes I was doing battles right, and people are like, yeah, I know what this team is. I know what PIMPNITE's going to do. So maybe the next one, I'm going to, like, you know, mix things up a little bit. So on this Dunsparce set, right, we got max attack and max speed. I was running a speedy one. We got Coil, we got Glare, Dragon Rush, and Roost. Serene Grace as the ability, and Dragonium Z as the item. Now, pretty much, the whole idea with this setup was to go for the Glare, you know, to paralyze the opponent, and then I could go for the Coil to boost my attack and boost my accuracy of Dragon Rush. Now, Dragon Rush does have a chance of actually flinching the opponent, and when you've got Serene Grace as well, you know, that heightens the chance even more. And obviously, you're going to try and take out the opponent with that. Unfortunately, in this case, I was paralyzed, so I just went for the Z move straight away to get some damage on the Vikavolt. Unfortunately, it didn't actually take it out, which was unfortunate, but I did some pretty solid damage, so I'm happy with that. So, we got the Vikavolt actually swapping out. I went for the Dragon Pulse on my Latias. Now, this Latias set was pretty much my fairy counter. I'll let you know why in a second. So, on this, we had Recover. We had Trick, Dragon Pulse, and Healing Wish. So Aerodactyl is going to swap into that Dragon Pulse, does well over half. I'm very happy with that. And now it's going to go for the Stone Miss, and it lands, and it doesn't crit me. Thank goodness that I say a crit would have taken me out there. Going to go for the second Dragon Pulse, and that's going to take out old Aerodactyl, taking it down. I actually don't mind shiny Aerodactyl. Looks pretty cool. Now, the item I had on this one was Ring Target. So, say if a fairy came along, I could trick them the Ring Target, and then I'll actually be able to hit them with a Dragon-type move. Otherwise, I was completely whopped. Alright, so out comes the Articuno. I'm going to go for the Tricky. I just was like, oh, let's see what item this you know, actually has. It's like, I hope it doesn't have like Bright Powder or Leftovers. And it didn't have an item. I did this battle right at, I think it was like 3 or 4 in the morning or something crazy like that. So I didn't notice this was the only Pokemon without an item on the team. Man, I got trolled there. I could have got a Dragon Pulse up, but it didn't really matter too much. Articuno is actually very bulky and special, so I wasn't too fast. Alright, so into Smeargle, I'm going to go for the Spore to put this Articuno to sleep. There was no other fairies on the opponent's team as well, so I didn't have to worry about Ring Target, you know, being used to get. Really, if the opponent had more than one fairy type, I was absolutely, there was nothing I could do, because once I had like used up one Ring Target to trick the opponent, I was gone. Like, it was really, really bad. A lot of battles that I had right was actually like I lost in the preview, so I had to say, you know, good game. I couldn't actually do the battle, so it was quite difficult. All right, so we put the old Articuno to sleep, and now we're going to go for a couple of Tail Glows. This Smeargle set was as follows. We got Tail Glow, Spore, Roar of Time, and Spatial Rend. I didn't even bother going for a conversion. I wanted to have Roar of Time and Spatial Rend. Okay, so we got the Articuno waking up there. I'm going to go for the Spore to put it back to sleep, right? So the Ancient Power does, like, you know, it does under half, so I'm quite happy with that. The only thing I was actually worried about, if this thing did wake up and use the Ice move, Smeargle was, you know, most definitely going to go down. Or very, very close to going down. It seemed like more of a bulky set. So now we're going to go for the Spatial Rend here against the Articuno. It does pretty good damage, just a little bit over half. Now it's going to wake up and go for the Freeze Ray on my Smeargle. It's like, oh man, this is it. There goes my Smeargle, you know, GG. And I lived on 8 health, which is awesome. So now I'm going to put the Articuno back to sleep again, and then we're going to see if we can actually take this out. Now, the only problem about this was I didn't want to go for Roar of Time, even though the base power was, you know, 150 compared to Spatial Rend's 100. I had that big cooldown of recharge, so I didn't really want to use that at the moment. It actually misses, the Spatial Rend misses, which is really bad, because Spatial Rend only has 8 PP, right? Which is kind of bad, because that means if I use all that up, I've got to go for a Roar of Time, and then obviously something can come in and take me out right after. Okay, so we got Living on 1 health with the Articuno again. The merch is available, people. And you can check that one out in the description of the video. Thank you to the person who bought the salt mug the other day. Alright, so now we're going to go for the Spatial Rend again, and that is going to take out the Articuno. Man, that move looks so cool. I get a crit there. Man, I was actually hoping to get a crit earlier on there in case it lived on 1 health. I wish I actually took it out with that one. So we got the Altaria coming out here. Now I can go for the Spatial Renegade or the Raw Time. I actually went for Raw Time outsped, which is really cool. And yeah, Altaria is not going to live that. I was like +6, so that's going to go down. Now the only problem about taking the Articuno or the Altaria out in one shot with the Raw Time is I'm on recharge now, right? So anything can come in and actually take me out. So we got the Vaporeon coming in. It's going to be able to take me out with like a water gun. And we got the Scald here, and that's going to finish off my Smeargle. But Smeargle did amazing there. Took out the Articuno and took out the Altaria. I'm really happy with how it did in this battle. So half my team's down, but I've taken half the other team out too. So it's a pretty solid battle. All right, speaking of solid, we got the Shogun here. This is definitely my tank for the team. We got a Rest Sleep Talker set. So as soon as I seen the Toxic from the Vaporeon, I was like, that doesn't even matter because I can just rest off later on. And we got Max Health and Max Special Defense. I'll actually run this one fairly tanky on all sides. We got the Everlight as the item and actually gave this Impish Nature. So I kind of like made it like an all-round kind of tanky Pokemon, and we got the Overcoat ability as well. So we got Dragon Rage on that and Toxic as the other move. I thought I'd include Dragon Rage because it's quite a, it's really a move you never ever see used at all. All right, so we got a swap there from the Vaporeon. I actually poisoned that with Toxic, which was really nice, and it's going to come in and intimidate me, which doesn't really mean too much, and I'm going to get some nice fixed damage on that Incineroar. Look at that damage, guys. So we got the poison racking up a little bit here. Now, I'm thinking it's probably going to have knockoff, right? But I really can't do too much. I don't really want to swap out. So knockoff does a lot of damage to me and takes off my Everlight. And I'm going to go for the rest there. Going to heal off that Toxic. I don't want that Toxic at all. I want that completely gone. If I could get a Toxic off against this Incineroar, that'd be really, really good because this is actually kind of a problem Pokemon, right? Alright, so I was expecting maybe a swap here, but they're going to stand and keep going for knockoff. So with that Everlight gone now, knockoff kind of does about the same as what it did before. So it's a solid, I'd say, 3-hit KO against my Shelgon. So go for the Sleep Talk here, hoping I don't get rest, and I get rest. Damn it! I needed to get Toxic. I kind of like wish I get Toxic. Now we got the Drain Punch coming from Incineroar, and it's going to get lots of its health back. And the next knockoff is going to be enough to take it out, which is kind of unfortunate. So this was a really, really threatening Pokemon at the moment. I had nothing right. I had to just go for Sleep Talk again and pray I could get Toxic, and I do. That was really, really big there that I got Toxic because that's going to definitely help me out at the later stages of the battle. We're sort of like midway at the moment. All right, so the next hit is going to take me out for the Incineroar. I just went for rest because, you know, that's all I can really do. There's no point going for the Dragon Rage. And now we got the knockoff coming from the Incineroar again, and that takes me out, unfortunately. I would have loved to live on 1 health there and get the rest off, but that wasn't the case. So I've only got 2 more Pokemon remaining. One Pokemon I really couldn't swap in, so the last, my last option here was the Garchomp. Now, this Garchomp set was, like, super, super fun. So, obviously, the Incineroar was always going to swap out there. That was obvious. And now we got the Vikavolt coming in. So, Vikavolt was just a swap-in Pokemon. It was already really low, so I thought they just swapped it in, to see what moves I was going to do, or just get a fresh swap in general. So, this Garchomp set was max special attack and max speed. We've got Dragon Breath, Twister, Sandstorm, and Swagger. So obviously the idea here is to go for the Sandstorm. I've got Sandvar, right, which is like super scummy. It's going to grant me some evasion. And we got the item as Bright Powder as well. So obviously I was trying to dodge some hits, and I was trying to paralyze the opponent with Dragon Breath and use Twister for flinch. So this is a crazy set. Anyway, so I really can't do a lot to this Vaporeon. We're going to go for the Swagger there. At least get the Swagger up, then I can start spamming Dragon Breath, right? Alright, so the only thing I was worried about was an Ice Beam from Vaporeon, and that would actually spell doom for my Garchomp. So it's going to go for Scald instead. It does, obviously it's not carrying Ice Beam, and Scald does pretty good damage to me. It's about, I'd say it's about a 3 to 4 hit KO, judging on whether I get burned or not. Even if I get burned, it's actually not all that bad. So pretty much my goal here was actually to take this Vaporeon out, or get it in range to my last Pokemon to, just finish off. Now we're going to go for the Twister. Twister looks so cool, but it's such like a bad move. Alright, so we're trying to go for that flinch on the Vaporeon, and we don't get the flinch, and it gets Toxic off, unfortunately. So I had Scald and Toxic. Now, that's kind of bad because that really counters my Garchomp. So I had a fair bit of evasion up there. So I guess I was kind of unlucky that hit me. But, that's sort of how the game goes. So I thought at this point, okay, well, the best thing I can do now, since I'm poison right, is to go for the Dragon Breath and get as much damage on this Pokemon as possible, right, before I bring in my last Pokemon to try and take it out. So going for the Dragon Breath there. I can't get any status on it, obviously, because the Vaporeon is already poisoned. And now it's going to get some confusion, and it hits itself in confusion, which is really good. That's going to grant me another turn. Unfortunately for me, the Sandstorm actually goes away. But I guess it's not too important because I don't really want my last Pokemon taking like Sandstorm damage. So at this point I was like, there's no point me setting up Sand again. I'm going to go for Dragon Breath and just take this thing out. I need some damage in case it goes for like Wish or something like that and heals itself off. So go for the Dragon Breath again on the Vaporeon. It lives on 1 health. Oh, the merch is available, people. The merch is available. Get your Salt mug now. Get your Salt t-shirt and get your Lift on 1 health jumper and t-shirt. You know where to get them. The link is in the description. Okay, so taking some more toxic damage from the Vaporeon, and Vaporeon is going to go down to the toxic, which is nice. So the one Pokemon we've got left, we had a bit of a problem at this with the start, was the Incineroar. Now, if I could get some damage off on the Incineroar, I'd kind of be happy. I was thinking, should I go for the Dragon Breath to be my best option here? Instead of going for Twister, I'm probably going to go down to the Toxie anyway. So go for the Dragon Breath, trying to get as much damage as possible against this Pokemon, and it pretty much does nothing. And Incineroar is going to go for the knockoff, and that's going to take out my Garchomp. Unfortunately, I didn't have Rough Skin there. I had Sand Veil, so I didn't do any damage. And now they're going to see my scummy item. So unfortunately, that Wish actually gives the Incineroar some health back, which is, definitely going to change the course of this battle. So my last Pokemon is Alolan Executor. I had to include this Pokemon on this team. Man, there's so many good Dragon-type Pokemon to include. Now we got the Flare Bits coming from the Incineroar there. Now, the good thing about Flare Bits is it's going to do some recall damage. It does just a little bit over half, well, probably a little bit more than over half to my Executor. And now I'm going to eat a berry in the clouds, which is a citrus berry. That gives me a little bit of health left. And now I'm going to go for the Dragon Hammer. I've got in this set as follows. We've got Dragon Hammer, Trick Room, Sword Dance, and Draco Meter. So a mixed set there. Now, Incineroar is on its last legs here. It's going to go for the Flare Bits. I was hoping here, if I could leave on 1 health and finishes off with the Dragon Hammer, it's so epic, but it does too much damage. I think it might have been like a minute max roll, and that takes me out, and the Incineroar goes down at the same time, and that battle, my friends, is a draw. That's crazy. Since my Pokemon actually fainted first, that counted as a loss, but man, that was a crazy first battle. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let's get on to the second battle. This was a battle against Jake on my Discord, and we have a Absol lead. So I like to lead things off with Dunsparce. It was actually a fairly handy Pokemon on my team. Looking at my team, I'd probably say the best Pokemon was Alolan Executor. Shelgon was nice support Pokemon, and I'd say Dunsparce was definitely up there. It definitely wasn't the worst. So unfortunately, this is like a support Absol, and it's going to burn my Dunsparce. So it's like, oh, that sucks. Now I won't be able to get as much damage off against the Absol. So I thought, okay, well, let's get some coils up against this thing at least, and then maybe fire off my Z move, get a bit of damage on, and, try and finish off the Absol with another Pokemon. So we got the Psycho Cut from the Absol. Now, Absol can critical hit me. I was a little bit worried about that, so I was thinking, okay, should I go for another core here, or should I just go for my Z move for some damage? Now we got a Sucker Punch from the Absol there. Does some pretty good damage. I'm going to go for the Dragon Rush here. I didn't go for the Z move. I thought, let's go for the Dragon Rush and then the Z move. I might be able to flinch the Absol. Unfortunately for me, I'm not going to go first because Sucker Punch has priority right. Now I was thinking, they're going to go for Sucker Punch again. Let's go for Roost. However, they didn't go for Sucker Punch. So getting some of my health back with the Roost there, which was pretty nice. Now, Absol's going to go for the X-Scissor. Clearly they don't have knockoff, they would have, they would have already used it. So they've got Sucker Punch as their dark type move, for stat. So now we got the Z move. I was like, hopefully this is enough to take out the Absol or do some pretty much, some pretty good damage to it. I do have a +1. The only thing is my attack is halved because of the burn run. It looks so funny, like Dunsparce using a dragon type move. In my next like actual specific moves team, right? I may only have like one of the type of Pokemon, so I really can confuse my opponent. So then they won't like guess what moves I've got at the start. All right, so going for my Z move, and it lived unfortunately for me, and the Absol is going to get paralyzed, which is really nice. Now in this turn, I thought I could go for a Roost here again. They may go for a desperate Sucker Punch at the end, and they did. I almost went for Roost there, but in case I didn't, I just went for the. In case I went for another move, I went for the Dragon Rush. I just wanted to finish off the Absol, and that one is down. So Dunsparce is pretty much wasted, but at least I got rid of the Absol right. I didn't really want it spreading like burn to any other of my Pokemon. So we got Ninja Tom coming out, which is not the Greninja, the Shedinja. Damn, guys, I got my ninjas mixed up, all right? All right, so we got Wonder Guard. I can't do anything. I just went for the Dragon Rush for Shedinja to take me out. Dunsparce was pretty much, it was wasted here. In case it went for like another move, like a statusy move, that's why I kept it in. It was pretty much done anyway. So into Shelgon. Now, Shelgon has Toxic, right? So I thought the only move to take out the Shedinja right is my Garchomp Sandstorm or the Toxic from my Shelgon. So it's actually a fairly dangerous Pokemon, right? All right, so we got a swap, and we got another bug Pokemon, which is the Pinsir. I nearly called it Sizzle there. So we got the Pinsir with the Toxic. Now, I can freely go for the, I can go for Rest, Sleep, Talk, and then I can go for the Dragon Rage to get some fixed damage, or I can swap out. I decide to swap out and maybe leave the Shotgun for a little bit later on and go to the Garchomp. I might be able to set up the Sandstorm to stop that, Shedinja coming in. It's going to have Guillotine, so like, okay, so the one thing about like one-hit KO moves like Guillotine, you know, Sheer Cold, they're not actually affected by accuracy modifiers, so they will always have the same accuracy, even if you use like Double Team and stuff like that. So sending a Scummy Sand up with the Bright Powder, it's going to go for the X-Scissor. Does okay damage to me. Now I'm going to get some extra damage with the Sandstorm, and we've got some extra damage with the Toxic too. So I can either go for the Twister or the Dragon Rage, sorry. I opted to go for the Twister, see if I get some flinches. And I don't get a flinch. Thank goodness the Guillotine missed on the Pidsaw. Otherwise, I would have been like really, really raging. It would have been quite, I guess it would have been quite ironic, like a Pokemon based around evasion getting hit by like a one-hit KO move. That would have made me really, really salty. Anyway, so we got the next Pokemon, another Incineroar. It's like, okay, I'm sick of this Pokemon. I've got to get rid of it. So go for the Dragon Breath there. I was hoping I could get like a Paralyze against it. It'd be super funny if I did. And I do. I was like, that's awesome. So my strategy is coming to fruition, people. And then it's got Outrage, and it hits me through the Sandstorm Scummy Veil. And I almost go down. It's like, oh no, this can't be happening. This can't be happening. So I was thinking, should I go for the Twister? Should I go for the Dragon Rage? Dragon Breath, man, all these Dragon moves. So I'm going to go for Twister. I don't get the flinch, and he lands the Outrage again in the Bright Powder Sand Fail. That sucks so badly. I'm so salty about that. Okay, so now it's got the Confusion. Man, lately I've had some really bad luck with those kind of moves. So, I guess the best about it is it's paralyzed, it's on low health, and it's Confusion as well. So now we're going to go to Latios. We got the swap on the Incineroar. Maybe they're thinking about using it later on. And we got the Moo coming in. So it's like, okay, this is definitely going to be a troll Pokemon, so I've got to get rid of it. And of course, Dragon Pulse misses. They've got Bright Powder Relaxes there. So straight away I was like, nah, I'm not putting up with this with this scumbag Pokemon, even though I just use one myself. And we're going to go for the trick, and we're going to give them a ring target, and now we're going to get the Bright Powder. So we got the Miltank go for the Thunder Wave there, so that's going to paralyze me. So that's kind of annoying, but it's not that bad. At least I can still use Dragon Pulse and get some damage on the Miltank. So now Miltank is going to go for, I nearly said Outrage, Rollout. So I was like, okay, the thing about this is I just got paralyzed. So this is going to have like the second Rollout already. I was thinking, should I stay in? Because I got Bright Powder, right? There's a low chance it actually might miss, and then Rollout will get reset. It won't be, it won't be that bad. I was like, nah, that's probably not going to be, my luck is too bad for that. So I'm going to go into Shelgon, right? Shelgon's going to be able to tank that one really nicely. If I can get the Toxic up against the Miltank, and, it'll take itself out eventually. I may actually lose a couple of Pokemon, though, because even though it's only doing a little bit of damage, it's actually getting exponentially, like, hitting me, like, really, really hard. On the fifth one, it's going to do, like, a heck of a lot of damage to. Okay, so we got the Toxic up. That was, like, super, super important getting that up. Alright, so now it's like, okay, I don't want to probably, out of my Shelgon and my Latios, I don't want to lose my Shelgon. That's, like, more important. So back into the Latios here. Miltank's going to go for the Rollout. This is the fourth Rollout. And that does a fair amount of damage to my Latios. So the next one is most certainly going to take out Latios. So now Latios is going to go for the Dragon Pulse. Rollout misses. The Bright Powder actually come in handy that I tricked from the Miltank. So that was perfect. And I hit pretty hard with the Dragon Pulse, almost taking it out. But the Toxic damage is going to take out the Miltank anyway. So that worked out to absolute perfection. So down goes the Miltank. We've got 3 Pokemon left. So we got Incineroar. So if this has like Dankus Lariat, Knockoff, I don't know, Bite, anything is going to be able to take me out. So I'm going to go for the Dragon Pulse on the Incineroar. That does some pretty good damage and takes it out too. So Incineroar's down. This is really good. So we got Shedinja and we got one other Pokemon. So I can't land anything against this Pokemon at all. I most certainly don't want to give it a Bright Powder. So I was like, let's go for the Healing Wish here. Latios pretty much can't do anything at all. It's pretty much wasted. And I can give that that Healing Wish to any of my other Pokemon to heal them up. It went for the Leech Life there, so that would have absolutely destroyed Latios anyway. So now we're going to go into the Shelgon. I'm going to get that Healing Wish, health back from the Shedinja, from the Latios, and now I can use Toxic against this Pokemon. So I thought, even if they do swap here, their next Pokemon is going to take a Toxic, which is going to be really good. However, they stay in and go for the Phantom Force instead. Toxic, of course, is going to miss. So I was wondering what item this actually has. Does it have Focus Sash? Does it have Lumberry? Does it have Safety Goggles? Like, they're normally like the items that it runs. So now we're going to go for the Toxic on the Shedinja, and it lands, which is really, really good. I was kind of like having like I was kind of anxious that the Toxic was going to miss and, you know, it'll be able to take me out or swap or something. And it's going to go down it's going to go to the Toxic. And that's really good getting rid of that Pokemon because I actually lost my Garchomp, right? So that was really my only way to get around that Pokemon. Alright, so the last Pokemon we got is a Vikavolt, another Vikavolt. So we have a Cineroar and a Vikavolt in both battles. So swapping out the old Shelgon there, just wanted to see what this actually was going to do to me. Into Executor. They both got the word Tor in them. And Bug Buzz does a lot of damage, almost taking the big boy out in one hit. And I'm going to eat a berry in the clouds. Now, there's no way I'm going to be able to, you know, take this thing out in one shot, let alone outspeed it. So down goes Alolan Executor. I guess the good thing about that was I got to check what sort of set this was. You know, sometimes people run like really crazy, like trolley sets. So Alolan Executor, it was always going to go down to that anyway, so I wasn't too bummed. So now it's like, okay, let's go for the Toxic against Vikavolt. I've still got one more Pokemon left to actually, you know, to deal with it too. So going for the Toxic on the Vikavolt. I was thinking I can go for the Toxic and then I can start spamming, you know, Dragon Rage to take this thing up. So it's going to have Flash Cannon. So Flash Cannon has a chance of dropping my special defense. I'm guessing that's what they were going to do, you know, rather than going for the Bug Buzz. Because I'm actually fairly bulky. Like, this is really super tanky little Pokemon. Alright, so now I'm going to go for the Mighty Dragon Rage, doing that nice. Look at that fixed damage, people. Look at that awesome fixed damage. And now we're going to Vikavolt going for Bug Buzz again. So I tanked that Bug Buzz actually pretty well. Now, at this point in the game, right, I could go for another rest. Now, the only thing I was worried about if I got critical hitted, if they had some way of getting rid of the Toxic, I thought is mainly going for, you know, Dragon Rage could be better here. Then the next Pokemon could finish them off right, which was my Smeargle. Alright, so Shelgon is going to go down to that Bug Buzz, but that's alright. The Vikavolt is going to take some poison damage, and it's down the next turn, people. It is definitely down. So we got Smeargle, right? Smeargle, it's got a Focus Sash, so I know that I can outspeed it. I know they're going to live it, but it's got the Quick Claw! And guess what, people? It has Quick Claw, and it's got Hyper Beam. Hyper Beam actually lands against my Smeargle. God, guys, if that Smeargle didn't have Focus Sash, right, that was ball game there. I'm going to live with the Focus Sash, and I'm going to finish this Vikavolt off with Roar of Time, and that is game. Hope you guys enjoyed both these battles. We both got to finish it. You know, we both got to use a two-turn move as well. Check out those bloopers. You definitely won't. You definitely won't see me getting salty. Peace.